I got some pretty bad news. But okay, so what happened was I actually turned on the car. The engine turned on like legit. It was like running. I put in the car in gear. It would, it would go. I put in reverse. It would reverse, and all the gears pretty much work. Transmission is solid. Now the problem that happened is that I switched out the starter. I put a new starter because my old starter wasn't engaging anymore. Put the new starter. Hooked it up. Checked the ground to see if they were dirty or anything like that. Cleaned them up. So I went to turn on the car, and the engine got stuck. Like it got seized. So I was like, okay, so maybe maybe I installed, the starter was loose or something like that. So I tightened up the starter, double checked it, charged my battery, cranked it again, and it was stuck. So what I ended up doing was, I was like, you know what, maybe a bent valve, or maybe there's not enough lubrication on the pistons that it got seized, and maybe the piston rings are, they're scoring up the side of the firewall or whatever. So what I end up doing was I dropped the oil pan, I dropped my sway bar, and little did you know, there's like a little piece of metals that got stuck on the timing chain. So I was looking at it, I'm like, damn. So hopefully I didn't get a bent valve on the engine, and hopefully I can actually find that other metal piece that's making it not crank all the way, because once I took off that metal piece, the engine was able to do one full turn, but then when I try to turn it again, it gets stuck. So I have a feeling the timing chain, or the timing chain guide, it broke. So that's kind of bad news, and that's like, it sucks because I had to drop the oil pan, I had to lift up the engine and stuff like that to check it out. So I'm going to show you guys what's going on with the engine, and I'm going to show you guys the metal pieces. So let's head to the back. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm working with. Let's get this oil pan out the way. Let's move this to the side, and let's head down on the bottom of the car. So as you can see, I had to drop the oil pan, and I'm actually going to have to take off the front cover because I can't rotate it. I can rotate it once, but I can't rotate it a second time. So I'm gonna show you what's going on. So I'm gonna show you guys what that metal piece did to my oil pump. So as you can see, all the teeth are intact, right? But if you start spinning it to the right, see how this part is a little bit chopped off? You keep going, and exactly this part right here, there's nothing there. Like, it's completely gone. I guess the metal part got into the gear and actually broke it off. So this was kind of like one of the main reasons why the timing chain got stuck, and that's pretty much the reason why I can't crank the car over. So I'm gonna show you guys actually that I can turn it over one time only, but in the second time it gets stuck, and I have a feeling that there's actually another metal piece stuck inside the timing chain. Okay, so I'm gonna get my handy dandy ratchet right here, put the socket in here, and we're gonna spin it to the right. Alright, here we go. So we can spin it freely. And that's where it gets stuck. It's exactly where it gets stuck. And I can't spin anymore because I feel like I'm tying it or something like that. I actually broke my breaker bar just trying to spin it, which was it was not fun. So this was the metal piece I was talking about that got stuck on the bottom of the crankshaft and the timing chain, and actually broke a tooth off of the oil pump. So there's actually a bigger piece than this, but I can't find it. I think someone threw it away, or like I kicked it somewhere. But yeah, this piece made, it did damage inside the timing cover. So I have my Super 6 set that I'm gonna use. I'm not really gonna, need special tools or anything to take off the belt, the alternator, and the freaking pulley for the crankshaft. So it's pretty much a pretty simple job. So we're gonna start off by taking off the belt. It's like the easiest thing you can do. Alright, so that was pretty easy to do. I'm actually going to take off this reservoir line too because I don't want to rip it. And then go to the store and buy a new one. So we're going to put this to the side as well. Alright, so next up we're going to have to take off all these freaking pulleys. This is the power steering pulley. I can actually take off the bracket with it because it's attached to the block. But everything else is fairly simple, pretty easy to do. And what sucks is that we actually have coolant inside the freaking engine, so it's actually gonna spill everywhere. I actually got to get like a freaking can or something to catch all of it because it's a lot, to be honest. So I got my handy dandy blue bucket, and you want to catch the antifreeze because I'm so mad that I actually bought, I topped it off with antifreeze, and that's just pretty much money wasted because I have to freaking open the front timing cover and see what's going on. So I'm just gonna freaking throw this in there. Try to catch as much antifreeze as I can because I have to take off the water pump as well. Try to catch as much as possible, but this is clean antifreeze and it's just money wasted. So what I'm gonna do is actually get a funnel. I have my old containers. I'll put my funnel, throw the antifreeze back in, and then when I take off the water pump, this bucket's gonna be empty so I can catch the rest of the antifreeze inside the water pump. Alright, so I took off the alternator, now I have to take out the water pump. Water pump is fairly easy, but I actually want to grab my smaller wrench for this, and of course my smaller, let's say a 12. It's gonna be a 12. Yes, it's a 12. I have my smaller wrench, and with the 12 socket, take off the water pump. I'm gonna take this off slowly. It's all pretty tight, because this is going to spill out more antifreeze as well. Some of them you can't get to. You actually need. I'm actually going to take off this freaking pulley because it's actually in the way of taking the water pump. So that's what we're going to do. I do believe that's going to be, I want to say a 10. Might be wrong. This is a 10. 10 or 8, it has to be 10 or 8. Alright, it's fairly easy to take off one by one. This is where your fan clutch goes, but we don't have a fan clutch anymore. We have electric fan, so kind of don't need it anymore. Okay, so now I have to take out the bolt for the freaking pulley. It's a big, ginormous bolt, but like I said, this thing should be able to come off. We got homeboy breaker bar up in this piece. So we can yank this sucker off. Here we go. Epic fail. Let's try again. Go. Got my freaking crowbar. So the way to do this with the crowbar is work it out back and forth slowly, and try not to damage anything. So just work it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Eventually it's gonna come off. So next up, I'm gonna take off this alternator holder or whatever, the bracket that holds the alternator. We're gonna take that out. We're actually almost done taking all this stuff out. Alright, so I took the bolts off from the front cover. There was 1, 2, 3. This one's it too. This one doesn't want to come off. 4, 5, 6, 7. There's one tucked down here. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And that's about it. This one's just being a real pain that doesn't want to come out. Alright, so I kind of whacked it on the side with the hammer. If you have a mallet, it's better. Don't use a hammer because it's metal. You want to bend things. And this one finally came out. So I hit on the side right here with the hammer. If you have a rubber mallet, it works better with the rubber mallet. That way you won't bend the metal, which I did a little bit. I actually bent it a little bit. Of course, I got my crowbar. Jam this sucker in there. Start prying it off so it comes off. There we go. It's getting there, little by little. Keep moving my light too. It's getting there. Alright. See what we have here, bruh. And of course, try to make sure you keep everything intact. You also have this key. Don't lose this. This is very important. It's for your timing. Pretty weird. Pretty weird. I got stuck. It looks okay to me. So I actually want to rotate this and see if there's any metal piece hitting it. Also look at the seal. The seal is no good either. Alright, so now that it's all exposed, what happened was, I guess something from the top, I want to say, and I actually think I feel, what is this, dude? Because this doesn't feel right. But something from the top came down, and there's something super sharp right here too on the top. I have to go under the car and see what that is. But something came from the top, dropped all the way down here where the gear was at, and the oil pump meets with this gear, and that metal piece that I showed you guys earlier got caught in here, and the engine wouldn't spin anymore. So I'm gonna have to take off the valve cover and inspect what actually fell and see if anything else here is broken. Alright, so now I'm just going to take off the valve cover and see what's going on. Maybe there's a valve open. Okay, so when I rotate the engine, these three valves here, they open. These three move too. It's just this cylinder right here. Cylinder, I want to say cylinder number 2 does not, like, this thing is stuck, like it won't budge. And then cylinder number 1 is fine, so it does move. So if you guys want to see, I'll show you guys. Let me zoom in a little bit. Here you go. I'm rotating it. Right there, stuck. These three do not want to move. And this is like super loose too. So, what I can do is actually take off this head and replace it with the other one that I have, or my spare engine. So what I'm probably going to be doing is I'm going to take off the other head from my other engine that I want to turbo and put it on this engine, and that's going to give me a real purpose just to freaking rebuild the motor for the other one so we can turbo it. But for now, this freaking sucks, man. After doing a 5-speed swap, everything was working fine, and then these valves just took a dump. So it's more work, but what can you do? Okay, so we do have bent valves on the engine, so I'm frustrated, but at the same time, you know, it's a learning experience. I don't really know much about cars, but actually working on the engine, figuring out what does what, um, it's good knowledge to know when something breaks. You know what you have to remove. You know what you have to look at and stuff like that. So after seeing the cylinder number one, 3 and 4, the valves were moving, and when I would spin the engine and cylinder number 2, the valves were like completely open. So I'm guessing when I started the car, the piston hit the valves, and now we have bent valves, which sucks. But like I said, I'm just taking it as a learning experience. Even though I took a lot of time just to put the 5-speed transmission on the engine, haul the engine inside the car, put the drive shaft, and all that, all the little stuff. It sucks that you work so hard for something, and then like at the end you just get like slapped in the face, and then you're just like, damn, like that sucks. But I am mad, but at the same time, I'm taking it like as a learning experience and learning my car more. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys have any questions, just comment down below. I had plans to finish this car this month, but after finding out what happened, like it's really frustrating, but at the same time, it's a learning experience, and it's just you're starting to, like, once you start working on your car, you're starting to figure out like what has to go where, what do you have to repair, why is it making that noise, why, like it's good knowledge to know. So my plan is still gonna be finishing the car this month. Like I'm actually like I'm gonna go balls deep and just finish the car and get it on the road on January, because I actually want to get some seat time and start learning how to slide the car and doing other upgrades. So that also gives me motivation to actually now do a turbo build on my other engine, since we have the engine that has the bent valves. That head's gonna go into my spare engine, so that gives me a good reason to start doing a turbo build with that one, and it's gonna be sick, dude. So it's just crazy, but that's how you learn, man. That's how you learn how to work on cars and stuff like that. But I'm gonna get out of here, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Later, guys.
I done lived and did and done and seen it, you feel me? Go get it, keep your head up and just stay focused.
Every time you see me, I am the freshest. Every time you see me, I come collect it. Cash out at the dealer, I swipe the debit. Cash out at the dealer, ain't need no credit.